Okay.
We're on.
Hey everyone, welcome to our team call on this beautiful Tuesday. We have a very, very special guest with us tonight, Diamond Ambassador Jaclyn Stanley. She is the only Diamond, am I right, here in Kansas City?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. So we're so honored that she is, in the area where we're building one of our biggest teams, and just super excited to get to know, Jaclyn was able to go from senior gold to diamond in 14 months. Am I saying that right?
Okay, let me think here. So I turned senior gold in May and diamond in May. Yeah, it was a year. So
A year. Oh my gosh.
yeah.
So yeah, she always says that, she went to convention last year and as a senior gold and was sitting there and said, I'm going to be walking across that stage next year as a diamond. And by golly, if she didn't do it. So I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm super happy that you're here, blessed to call you a friend, and just excited to share you with our team. So the floor is yours.
Yay, thank you for that awesome introduction. It never gets old hearing the word diamond in front of your name, and it always makes me giddy, and it sounds like be true still. So you guys, you're going to be there if you set your mind to it, and I swear you're going to feel the same way. It just is like, it's crazy to hear that. I'm going to just start off with telling you guys a little bit about my story, and then I'll get into just some things that I've been going over with my team, and then some things that Ruth and I chatted about today that I think are going to be really wonderful. Like she said, maybe some missing pieces that you guys haven't implemented yet, but once you do, I think you're going to see, it's going to be pretty impactful. So I started my journey in February of 2015. I joined just wanting to be a wholesale buyer. I had done network marketing before, and I didn't even make enough in a year to earn a 1099. And I was trying, sad as that is. So I knew what network marketing was. I knew that there was going to be inventory I had to pay for. I had to spend a lot of money. I had to host parties. I knew I wasn't going to make any money, and I was going to get burned out really fast because of those things. And I knew my husband was going to be less than thrilled that I was getting started with something like this again. So for 6 months, I said no to my current sponsor. Once my son had turned 1 year old, I was still holding on to some baby weight. I thought, okay, I'm going to give this a shot to try to lose some weight. That's all I wanted. I joined as a wholesale buyer because I'm cheap. And I made my first post the night before I took my products. So what changed? What made me go from a wholesale buyer to posting on Facebook and getting this whole thing started? It was actually a welcome call. I had a welcome call with my sponsor and her upline, and when I heard about the business and I heard about the possibilities, I just thought, why not give it a year and see where I can end up in a year, and then I can reevaluate from there if I want to keep going. But I can hit it hard and just, I'm always looking for a challenge. So I thought this was going to be my challenge. At the time, I was a stay-at-home mom. I'd been a teacher for 9 years. I taught 8th grade social studies. After my second son was born, it didn't make sense to keep working and just send all of my teaching salary to daycare. So I decided to stay home, but that was a weird transition for me. I love my kids and I love being home with them, but I needed something more. I didn't realize that until I started Plexus, that I needed something more. And I've been able to really develop into this person. I was not this person when I first started. And so that's one of the coolest things, I think. The income's great and the recognition and the prizes and all that. But the growth that I've experienced, along with the friendships that I've either rekindled or have found through this process, have been amazing. My plan when I had decided to stay home from teaching was to return once the kids were in school. Well, that's no longer the case because my time is better spent working on my Plexus business. So I am officially retired. I've gotten rid of all of my teaching stuff. As much as I loved it, now I know I can go and be a part of my kids' field trips and be, helping out in the classroom and all that fun stuff. So, now here I am. I'm a Diamond Ambassador. I'm out earning my husband, which is just crazy to me. And things have changed so much for our family. I can't even express how much things have changed and how tremendous this journey has been. And it's only getting better. Because right now I am working towards getting my friends promoted as well, trying to get everybody to jewel status so that they can experience that life-changing business as well. But when I say life-changing, this is something that Ruth and I were talking about earlier today too. And I'm going to touch on it here a little bit later. But we are so different. Plexus is so different from other network marketing companies in that we actually do make money, and we can make decent money from the beginning, from the get-go. Whether you're a senior ambassador, a silver ambassador, a gold ambassador, whatever, or just starting out, I know my first paycheck blew me away. That can be life-changing to so many people, and I'm sure it is to you. We just kind of get used to seeing these figures and these numbers, and we kind of diminish how wonderfully we're paid to do this gig. So it's kind of sweet. That's my story in a nutshell. I wanted to lose 10 pounds of baby weight, and here I am loving what I'm doing. So, okay, so I'm going to just talk about some of the things that I have been touching on with my team lately, and I have to refer to notes or I will forget something. And my train of thought, I've got a 6-week-old, so sleep is very minimal in my house. So bear with me when I go through all this. Okay. One of the first things that you have to have with this business, it's non-negotiable, is a strong why. It's one of the first steps. It's one of the first things that you see in our success guide. Having a strong why is important. And when I say strong, you might think yours is strong, but if it is not evoking strong emotion from you, it might not be deep enough. It might not have enough grit to it. I like to say your why needs to make you cry. And it can change over time. And it's something, if you're just starting off, it's hard to get a real deep why. But if you've been doing this for a little bit, several months, try to dig a little bit deeper and not only determine what you're looking for, for your family and for your future, but actually picture it and state it. When I am Emerald, we will do this. I'm excited to be able to take my family to Disney World, whatever it's going to look like for you. Really picturing that future is going to be huge. And when I say picture it, I do like for people to make pictures, to make some sort of a pic collage or something visual that you can look at and you can refer back to, because this business, as fun and as amazing as it is a total roller coaster. And you're going to have the highest highs and you're going to have the lowest lows. And this is kind of, it's tough love of me to say this, but the weak, they get out when we're in the valleys, okay? They bail. And a lot of times it's because their why was not strong enough. So that's one thing I really want you guys to evaluate, reevaluate, revamp, redo, dig deep, make that why strong, okay? If you can get yourself to cry sharing why, you're in a good spot, okay? The other thing that's going to be so, so important for this business is relationships. Those have to come first. And I feel like in my conversations with Ruth and just knowing Ruth and the type of leader that I'm assuming she is, this is not a missing piece for you guys. This is something I think that you guys are driven by already. But I just want to make sure that I touch on it, because sometimes it's hard, because in other sales positions or other types of businesses, the relationships get kind of pushed to the side. So always remember, everything in this business is about relationships first and foremost. You have to be willing to really work on your current relationships, even if it's just an acquaintance, and not for the purpose of making money, just for the purpose of a happy life. Fostering these relationships, really helping them to grow, and expanding your network, meeting new people, and developing relationships in multiple areas. I think this is one thing that I did prior to starting my business without knowing it was going to be helpful. I am from Illinois, but I went to school in Kansas. And just in all my different areas of life, I've kept in contact with people, and I've always just kind of been a relationship person. So it really kind of paid off when I started this business, because I had a wide network of friends and people that trusted me. And so it's helped. But just because you don't have a wide network, a big network, doesn't mean you can't be successful. It's one of those things that you'll work on. It's a good thing to have a good wide network. Just in life, these people don't always have to join you on the Plexus journey, but I promise, fostering strong relationships will make your life just that much more enjoyable. So those are some of the big things that you need to make sure that you're doing. One thing that I see a lot of times on my team is what I call posting and praying on Facebook, which are two very important aspects of this business. I would not be where I am without Facebook. I could have reached out to people in my network and really tried to grow my team that way. But let me tell you, some of the strongest runners I have on my team came to me, and they are people I have not spoken to in 20 years. And so they may not have been on my radar to reach out to them. They saw my post through Facebook and came to me. So you can run your business how you want to. I just want you to, if you've thought about omitting Facebook from what you do, I want you to strongly reconsider it, just because there are going to be a lot of those people that you're not really, just not even coming to mind when you were thinking about who to reach out to. So think about that. Also, while you are posting, just make sure you're not looking like an advertisement. I mean, you guys have a great role model in Ruth. How unique are her posts? That is awesome. I want to make sure that your audience is seeing you, okay? You sharing. Ruth's audience is definitely seeing her and her posts, for sure, her personality, which just makes people trust you more when it's you and not something that has been copied and pasted, which everybody does. I do it too. Try to change it up to make it sound like you. But the best thing you can do is make those personal posts. People will be attracted to that. The other thing that I have felt has been very strong in building a team for me is not being afraid to share the business. Whether that be on Facebook by posting about it or telling people or messaging people. It is nice to have people start off as customers and move to ambassadors, and that makes the most sense. However, there are plenty of people out there that are going to be more drawn to the business than the products. And as a byproduct of joining you in the business, they're going to get healthier, so they're going to love it. But there are so many. I just had somebody join my team, not under me. They'd be one of my level 2s. They joined last night. Have no interest in the products, but the business was so intriguing to them. They heard my business testimonial, and they're off and running and just like messaging people today. Like 20 people have been messaged by this person today. So this is somebody that is off the ground running, wanting to make this work because she wants to stay home with her kids. So that business opportunity was huge for her. So don't shy away from that. When I first started sharing, kind of what my paychecks were or what kind of income I was making or how life has changed and what I could pay for, it felt funny because that is a weird thing to share. We've been conditioned not to really talk about that because it's kind of taboo. However, having been in network marketing before and knowing the kind of income that was there with that company, I think it's important for people to understand that there is a crazy opportunity with Plexus, and it's so different from other companies. So don't shy away from sharing things. And maybe your paycheck is $100, which can be life-changing for lots of people. That can make a big impact, buying groceries, whatever. If you feel like that is not enough to share, you can always talk about, my upline, Ruth, this is what, she's been doing this for this long, this is what she's making, or this is what she's able to cover. Isn't that exciting? Or, talk about, you can share diamond documentaries, or you can talk about other people in this business that are making a significant income. I just don't want you to shy away from sharing the business because you don't know who needs that, okay? Just as much, sometimes if not more, than the products. So we have amazing products, and I feel like they sell themselves. I feel like there's not a lot that we have to do with that. But the business side, we're in network marketing, guys. People are skeptical. We have to let them know how amazing the opportunity is. And not just financially. Talk about how fun it is. I always encourage my team when we're on a Zoom to take a screenshot when you've got everybody's faces up, which we don't have many faces, so I wouldn't do it now because you don't look all that fun right now, guys. Take a screenshot and share and be like, this is my job. I'm hanging out in my PJs. Oh, there, we've got Kay's smiling face. and have a glass of wine, whatever it is. Like, this is my work. It's so fun. Or if you guys have a team dinner, make sure you take a picture and you share that and you talk about how fun this is. Because I think one thing that's overlooked about this opportunity is the community that comes along with it. I mean, we all know this community is amazing. Share that with people. Some people are craving that, and they need that bond and that sense of purpose and that sense of belonging. I know early on, that's how I got one of my first ambassadors. She just was seeing this bond that we had on our team, and she wanted to be a part of that. So don't shy away from sharing that part of the business as well. Okay, so it's not all products. Products are so important. But when you are really putting the business out there, that's what you're going to attract. So don't shy away from that. Make sure, I think that you guys probably have a pretty good system in place or good training in terms of making sure you're following up with people. You're reaching out and really never letting people go until they tell you that they don't want to see or hear from you ever again. Then you can let them go. Leadership. Leadership is a huge, huge thing. Whether you have one ambassador on your team, 3, 5, 10, whatever it is, you are a leader. You have now taken responsibility. You cannot walk away from this person. They have trusted you and they have joined your team. So you're now a leader. Your team, whether that's one person or 10, they are going to do what you do, not what you say. So I really encourage my people, once they go silver or once they have 5, 6 people on their team, to start a team page and start to take on that leadership role. It might be scary at first, but your team isn't going to view you as a leader until you are acting like a leader. Okay. And so, one of the scary things when you're first starting a team page is getting people to comment on the page. Okay. If you're the only one posting and you're really struggling to get people to participate, that's scary, but everybody goes through it. There's a couple things that you can do. So some of you might not be in that place yet, but if you are, take notes for the future, for when you do start a team page. What can you do to get that participation up? A couple things. Reach out to your leaders and ask them to participate on your team page. Let them know that the more people participate, the better sense of a community and bonding you're going to have, which is just going to be better for everybody. The more active your team page is, I promise it will be better for everybody. When you're a new ambassador added to a page that's boring and dull and nobody's participating, it's not really something that maybe you're going to be excited about jumping into. So let them know that. When you have new ambassadors added to this page, you want them to see excitement and a sense of community. Another thing you can do, here's where I'm losing my train of thought, because I said there's 2 things and now the second one has escaped me. I'll come back to it. It's not in my notes, of course. Go figure. Here's hoping I can get that back. Mommy brain's real. The struggle's real up in here. Okay. Here's another thing I want to talk about. Kind of all over the place, but these are the topics that my team has really been needing lately. So hopefully they're speaking to you as well. Expectations. I have some people on my team. They will a lot of times think that, Susie over here promoted to Senior Ruby in 9 months, and I want to do the same thing. And if I don't do the same thing, I'm a failure. If you look at people in corporate America, they will work at those jobs for like 25, 30 years and never make it to the top and never make it to that income level that they're hoping to make. But it's totally normal and they're totally cool with it, and they're working their 60 hours a week, and it's just what you do. But in network marketing, for some reason, people think if you're not a millionaire within a year or 2, then you're a total failure. That's not the case. So make sure your expectations, you're setting a high standard for yourself and high goals, but your expectations are reasonable, and you understand that just because you're not making it through the ranks as fast as Susie doesn't mean that you're a failure or that this Plexus thing doesn't work. Just everybody's on their own timeline. So just remember that if you're doing what you can do, if you're enjoying the journey as you go through it, then that's all that matters. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this promotion that Plexus has right now with this rank up and score, and talk about some of the things that you can be doing. I really like people that have been with Plexus for a while, and we've got a promotion like this. redo your list of 100, your list of contacts, revamp it, because certainly there are people that you can cross off of there. Certainly there's people that you can add on to there, even if you don't know their name. So you move to a new neighborhood, you know, a lady with the red hair across the street, write that down, okay? If you don't remember her name, get a new list revamped so that you have new contacts and it's kept on your desk in your face for you to look at all the time. So that, I mean, for me, it drives me bonkers if I have a to-do list that I don't get through. So it's kind of like a to-do list. Like, these are the people that I have to reach out to, and keep it in plain sight so that you are constantly reminded of who you need to reach out to. If you have wholesalers on your team, reach out to them about this promotion. A lot of times our wholesalers don't pay attention to the emails that come out from Plexus, or maybe they've taken themselves off the team page or don't get notifications. Let them know what is going on. Let them know that they don't necessarily have to work the business, but if they can find 3 other wholesalers, they can get a sweet $200 bonus on top of the business building bonuses that they would get when people got welcome packs. So let your wholesalers know. And then we'll talk about this in a little bit. We're going to get those people on welcome calls. Okay. So really make sure your wholesalers know this. Make sure you've reached out to your white lines and they're aware of this. You know, people will drop off for whatever reason. But something like this might be able to get them drawn back in. So don't, you know, I say it is tough to resurrect the dead. It's easier to bring in new blood, but you never know if a situation has changed for these people. You know, maybe they really need the business, or it's just kind of escaped their mind to reorder, restart their regimen. Reach out to these people. Don't let these people go either. Celeste posted on her team page today a video from Ame Darling. I don't know if Ruth has shared it on the team page, probably. Great thing to message out. One thing Ruth and I talked about today was, you know, coming up with testimonial videos as well. So Ame's is really, really good. Great information. I sent a bunch of those out today. But what I had done a few days ago with my team is gathered up a few people and got on a Zoom, made a testimonial video to kind of get around the whole compliance thing. You know, it used to be, like I said these exact words to Ruth, it used to be the Wild Wild West. And we could share whatever we wanted on Facebook, and we could say lupus, and we could say allergies, and we could say diabetes, and we could say all these words, and we're not allowed to say anymore. But that was huge. You know, and so some people are complaining that they're in a rut and their business isn't where it was before, and we could share all that stuff. We'll still share it. Share in a more personal way through a video. Send these testimonial videos out to your potentials, and maybe have one that's just your story, and you can share that. Maybe gather a few people up that have, you know, come from different backgrounds or have different stories, and share those keep them short, share those with people. You can turn it into a contest, you know, where those people would be entered into a drawing if they listen to the video. But get that stuff out there, okay? You just can't post it on Facebook, but still share that with people, because that is such a big deal. That was very huge for so many of us in our businesses. So still find ways of sharing it. Another thing that I know people have done is they've typed out their testimonial and their story. And whenever they mail a sample to somebody, they also mail that. I wouldn't just have it as a Word document with nothing else, like a family picture in there. You know, throw in some pictures so it's more eye-catching. But that's another way to get your story out there, your testimonial, okay? Just some little ideas there. Make sure there's never been a more vital time to get outside of your comfort zone and to talk to people, to meet new people, talk to strangers. That mom that is chugging her triple espresso, I don't know how many shots she's got in it just to keep up, just to stay awake. She's at the park. Go talk to her. She might need the business. She definitely needs the products. Be uncomfortable. The more you step outside of your comfort zone, the more you're going to grow, the more your business is going to grow, and it's so worth it. So if you're afraid of talking about the business, do it, okay? Be scared. You should get a little sweaty under the armpits and have a little glisten right here before you do it. And then you're going to feel like totally amped after you do it. It's like a huge rush when you tackle that fear head on. So do that kind of stuff. If something scares you, I want you to do it, okay? Don't hold back. Okay, so let's see here. what else do I want to? Oh, and try as much as you can get people on the phone and get them to meet you in person. That's just it's going to hold a lot more weight than just, conversing through Facebook Messenger. So do what you can there. Okay. This is the last thing I want to talk about. And I think that this is probably one of the biggest deals, the biggest things that we're going to talk about tonight, because it's going to be something that you guys are going to start to implement with your team, with your new ambassadors. And that is this idea of a welcome call. And I'm going to share how my team handles welcome calls. Obviously, it's not one size fits all, so everybody can make this work for their team. However, I really, truly feel like this is huge. And when I see a team, when I see one of my legs starting to slip on doing the welcome calls, I notice it in their growth, and I notice it in their points. It's a really big deal for my team. So here's what we do. When you sign a new ambassador and you send them a welcome email and you add them to the team pages, all that fun stuff, you also start a 3-way message thread with this new ambassador and your sponsor. Okay, and this 3-way message thread from you is just going to say, hey, this is my new ambassador, Katie, and I'm so excited to welcome her to the team. Katie, this is my sponsor, Susie. She has been a wealth of knowledge for me, and I just really wanted to connect you to, introduce you to. Can kind of leave it there. The sponsor, Susie, would then jump on and say, oh, I'm so excited to have you a part of the team. Listen, I would love to chat with you. Do you have like 15 minutes? Maybe afternoons or evenings better for you. And see if you can't get them on a welcome call, okay? And they can be super, super short. The other thing that we do to keep them short is we have created welcome videos, or I have a welcome video. So I say, in the meantime, before we get to our welcome call, I would love for you to watch this short welcome video just to kind of talk about what this whole Plexus gig is about. And then we share that. So the reason we send the video is because it is the information that we were giving to everybody. And it was because everybody was getting the same information. It was making our calls super long. So it was a way to kind of cut down our calls, get that info to them when they could watch it. When we got them on the call, then we could speak specifically to what they were looking for. So one thing I always tell my team, get wholesalers on the call. I was a wholesaler. I did not want to work the business. I got off the call. I posted. So get them on if you can. They're going to be resistant. Okay, so that's why I like to give them an option. Are afternoons or evenings better for you? Weekday or weekend better for you? And just promise them it'll be short. Maybe they'll say, hey, I don't want to hear about the business. I just want the products at the cheapest price. Say, oh, fabulous. Then let's just get on a call and we can, walk you through how to take the products or walk you through what you just ordered. And you can keep it kind of geared towards the products. Towards the end of the call, that sponsor can be like, do you want to hear, I can share like 5 minutes of share with you a little bit about the business side. Would that be okay? You can probably get in a little bit about the business. If you can share the business, you can share the earning potential, you can share the one thing that I have seen for my team be huge, the average monthly income, that can change so much. But you can't force people to see it when you post. Well, you're not supposed to post the monthly ones. You can't force people to see it. But if you can get them on a call and you can tell them about it, they can hear it, it can change so much. So that's how we handle our welcome calls. One thing that we've started to add, this is super new, is if it's somebody who has decided, okay, yeah, I'm going to work the business, or somebody that was planning on working it all along, see if they cannot make 3 phone dates that week, which would be a potential 3-way call. So challenge them. Say, okay, obviously your first goals are to promote to silver and to get 500 PV. Obviously, those are very basic first goals. But those aren't showing them how to get there. How do you get there? You share this with people. So challenge them to schedule 3 to get on the call with their sponsor and this potential. It could be a potential customer, potential ambassador, and see if they can't get people on. If they can't get individual calls, you can always do a Zoom where you have these potentials on there. And sometimes that can also work in your favor because, you know, people see, oh, there's others interested. It's not just me. I'm not just a weirdo hearing this out. Like, there's other potentials on here, can kind of draw them in as well. So see if you can't do that. Another thing that we do kind of along the same lines is once we get people to do their first post, anybody that likes or comments that Plexus post, they send a message and try to get them on a Zoom as well. Okay, or you can do that three-way message as well. So I think I call it the Amy Paul method because that's where I learned it from. But that can be so beneficial too. Okay, this is showing them how to grow their team. Okay, giving them an actual process to get people on board, and not necessarily growing their team, but growing their business, because it could be potential customers as well. This is one thing that I told Ruth when we were talking earlier. You know, the information is so important, but what I've found is that these people are like, so it means so much to them that somebody that they don't even know, you know, is on this call talking with them and meeting them and getting to know them briefly, taking time out of their day. That means a lot to them, and that kind of shows them what our community is all about, what our teams are all about, and people want to be a part of that. They like that. So these welcome calls, the reason why we have them as a three-way call and you don't just say, hey, I'm going to set up a time for my sponsor and you to chat, is because we use them as training. So if you're the person who signed to the new ambassador, you would then listen in on what your sponsor says, take notes. You're on every call, and then you're prepared to run these for your team as they sign new people. So it's just a way of duplicating things. The more that we can make things simple and easy to duplicate, the more likely they will be duplicated. When we complicate things, when we make things really hard to do, people shy away and they're like, oh, that Ruth, she's a go-getter. God bless her. Thank God she's, you know, willing to do X, Y, and Z, but that's too much. I don't think I can handle that. So if you've got something that is in place and it's simple and it's easy, when they're first starting off, anybody can do that. That's what's going to help build your team. People are going to be scared when they see you do too much. So be careful of that in anything you do, not necessarily welcome calls, anything that you do. Be careful of that. That is pretty much all that I've got for you guys. You know, one thing that I really like to make sure that I drive home in any call that I do or any Zoom, any training, is you can only fail in Plexus if you quit, if you give up. If it takes you 5 years to get to Diamond, would you be okay with that? I think you would. I mean, because that income is amazing. Everything about Plexus is so amazing. Why would that be such a bad thing? Don't quit. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to the people out there that have never heard of Plexus but have severe health issues. You owe it to those people to not give up. You don't know how many people out there need you. So I think it's kind of a selfish thing to give up, to quit, because it's not about you. It's not about you getting to Diamond either. It's about all the people's lives that you're going to impact along the way. So don't forget about that. When you want to quit, think about the person you haven't met yet that needs you, and you don't even know it. So that is all I've got for you guys. Thank you so much for having me on. This has been fun.
This has been amazing. Oh my gosh, you are such a wealth of knowledge.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Seriously, you can have your baby brain like take it in a heartbeat.
Oh, you're
It's awesome. I think that you've given us all like so much meat to think about.
No, I think she's frozen.
Still there? Are you there?
Yep, it's back on.
Yay! Hi, Soph.
Aw.
Well, thank you, Jaclyn. Does anybody have any questions? We have less than a minute, but do you want to field one question? I think Good. We may have some follow-up questions, Jaclyn, and if we do, I may
Yeah, that works.
Jaclyn, thank you so much for taking the time out of your night tonight. And I cannot tell you how much we appreciate it. I know that so many of us have taken so many notes tonight.
Yeah.
Yay. I'm glad I could help. Thanks for having me on, guys.
We're your biggest fan here, seriously.
Thank you so much.
Have a good night, guys. Thank you.